Hello, everybody! My name's Ardendres, and welcome back to RWBYM World of Blocks. Last time, we started out, for real this time, looking at the Psi mod, and getting through some of the starting tutorial stages, just sort of figuring out how it works. And there were some things I didn't understand, there were some things I was having a hard time getting working, and so on and so forth, but we managed to do the first starting three no problem, and it was the fourth one that caused us some difficulties, and after that we just started up some more of the other stuff. Let's pull this up real quick. Last time we went through tutorials 1, 2, 3, and 4, but 4 wasn't really working correctly, and so we started looking at some of the other ones as well. So between episodes, I decided to do some more digging, did a little bit more research, watched some videos, read through some tutorial guides and whatnot. So I understood I understood everything a little bit better, and I was able to figure out at least a lot of what everything properly did and how to do some things properly, but I still don't understand everything on some of the higher end stuff, so we're still gonna have to do some research bits. But last time, there was one specific spell we were having trouble getting to work, and that was Trick Explode. And it turns out I was doing it exactly right, but I was neglecting a certain mod interaction that I had forgotten about. So, as if I just exit the village area real quick, make sure I'm all the way out of here, explode. There are fairies over here, I didn't realize you were here. So, I kind of forgot about the fact that Minecolonies villages have built-in protection so that TNT and whatnot, stuff like that, doesn't actually explode and do damage. I forgot this was a thing. The whole time I was just trying to get the area around here to explode, but we're still within the confines of the colony. So it's not going to work. So I literally spent like an hour trying out different things, trying to get this to work until I eventually even started getting rid of mods, thinking it was a weird mod combination. And it was. But we're perfectly fine now. I just can't use this spell in the confines of the village, which makes sense. But anyways, also last time we had some other things going with move self and move entity, which I started messing around with a little bit more and actually changed how I have them in the machine. So before, for move self, it was pretty simple. I had select caster self or whatever. I had this thing going into the direction I'm looking and my current position to give us a vector from there, and then we get pushed in the direction that we're looking. Now I have changed things around. Actually, this is move entity, not move self. I'll go over how this thing works in a moment. We didn't actually have move entity last time. But if I were to just replace, I can do this change really quickly. Select caster, entity motion. I now have this set up so that it will detect which direction I am moving. Ignore this thing for a second, and from let me adjust this real quick. Connector, like so. Connector, like so. Here we go. So, ignoring all these extra pieces for a moment, we have selector caster. So we get moved with a power of 3. That's this basic thing, and then everything else is to get the vector. So it will take the direction we are currently going with our entity motion, and then it will steal the Z and the X from that. So let's say if I walk straight this way, I am traveling positive on X. If I travel straight this way, I'm traveling negative on X, positive on Y, positive on Z, negative on Z. Basic cardinal directions like X plane, Z plane, Y plane. And it will take whichever direction you're moving. I think it takes your current speed for the vector, but that's not too important right this second. So it'll say, okay, you're traveling in this direction. Okay, that's the Z and the X it takes. And so it puts that into a vector construct. And then I just have it set up like this. Let's actually change this to 1, because I needed to add an addition sign into one of these to do the next tutorial bit. So basically, we're traveling X in a direction and Z in a direction, and then automatically get assigned 2 to the Y thing. So if I now use move self, it will launch me with a vector of, let's say I'm traveling this direction, I'm traveling on X positive and Y negative, X positive, Z negative, I will get launched in the direction I'm currently moving with a bit of an upward thing. So let's say if I'm just like running like this, trying to get away from something, I can do like that. And yeah, it will just like continue my current direction of travel and give me a little boost now. If I want to change this quickly back over to the other thing that I just got rid of a second ago, this connector has to go like this connector has to go like this now, everything else is fixed. So now, this is move entity. I actually need a targeting dummy for this. So what it will do is it will take an entity that I am looking at, and that will become the target and will get moved with a force of 3. Actually change this. So an entity that I am looking at, it will get its current movement, and then it will take the inverse of that by multiplying it by -1 and steal the negative X direction and negative Z direction. Well, it's the same thing. So let's say if I'm moving like this, it will point in that direction. So that's the vector I want it to take. Again, it has the +2, so we'll get launched. If I'm running this way, it will get launched like this, with a strength of 3, which is how I have most of my entity movement things working. So like, pigs and whatnot aren't really moving around, but since it's standing still, we'll get launched straight up. But let's say it was running away. Except, why are you not trying to run away from me when I hit you? Like, I thought that's how animals were supposed to react. It's being a bit weird with animals right now. But I think there was a knuckle levy that I was using as a testing dummy over here. Hopefully it's still around. I don't think it should have despawned. Where are you? We have a whole bunch of wolves. Is it that red dot? Yes, here it is. So, let's say it's coming at me like this. If I shoot it like so. I appear to have put too much force into the Y and not enough force into the XZ. So if I just quickly head back over and like adjust that Y back down to 1, we should see if it works a little bit better. So just completely get rid of you. I don't need the addition thing in here. I was just doing it so that it existed. Like so. Readjust, run back over to the knuckle levy. Assuming I can find it again. Where are you? This is more of a test for me to make sure I can explain how everything works to a degree. Huh, it's not actually taking your X and Z, it's not actually taking its X and Z and getting the inverse of it. It's sort of just launching it straight up. Interesting. I'm wondering if that might not be something special with the boss being weird, because I think I tested this on a Borbotusk and I saw it work properly. I need like an actual enemy to come at me. Something that's not like boss level. So I'm just gonna wait for something to spawn to test this out again. Here we go. I remembered there was a giant city right next to me and ran over because I knew there were gonna be some things. Like, is this thing gonna actually come at me? Like so? Interesting. It's not actually taking that thing's Z and X stats and like inverting them. Interesting. Did I set something back up wrong when I was putting this back together? I don't think I did. No, that should be working right. X comes in from here, Z comes in from here. I get the negative. This was working before. I don't know, it's being a bit weird. It's only launching things up for some reason, and I can't get it to work otherwise. So, oh well, I thought I had this thing working properly. I guess there's still some things I don't understand. But, it's at least the basic premise of what I was trying to do. You can see I've had some issues getting things to work properly. Go away. Oh, ow, where'd you come from? Ow, used up too much of that stuff. You can go right away. Fire! Fire all calibers! Die. There we go. Geists and other flying things galore. If I just keep firing blindly like that, I'm eventually just going to hit one of the villagers, which is not good. Anyways, that can go in there because I have some fixing up to do. Anyways, I did actually complete the last thing, which was the numbers 101. I added plus, and I already got the level up for it. And now we can get alternative casting, which will give us focal point and ruler vector. Selects the vector defined by a vector ruler. Interesting. Or block works for break blocks and placing blocks and some other things. Sure, we'll go for block works, I suppose. What do we have here? Working with blocks is an essential skill. As blocks are aligned to a grid in the world, you can refer to a block's position via vector. So, knowledge of the vector concepts is rather important for understanding the contents of blockworks. Two of the most basic pieces in this group are the place block and break block tricks. They take a vector and either place or break a block in the position specified. For the case of trick place block, the block placed is the one to the right of the player's CAD on the hotbar. If one of those blocks is taken from the player's inventory, of course one of those blocks is taken. Knowing where to place or break a block is easy, as it can be done through operator vector raycast. There is something we have to keep in mind, however. A standard implementation of operator vector raycast gives us the block the player is looking at, and we can't place the block there as one already exists. To remedy that, we can combine our operator vector raycast with the new operator vector axis raycast piece, which gives us a vector equivalent to the side of the block we're looking at. So if we're looking at the top of the block, it will give us an axial vector 0, 1, 0. We can then sum that using operator vector sum to the result of our raycast to get where to place our block. Okay, I see. So this is where like adding vectors together is going to start coming into play. Like, I'm traveling in this direction, and I'm looking at a block right there. The block here is in this coordinate. Then the block that would be above it would be one coordinate up, and we can add those together to say, okay, place it here. Got it. Where was I? In a similar fashion, entity axial look gets an axial vector equivalent to the axis the player is looking at. Think of the facing value on your F3 menu. Entity X does something similar. Say facing would say east. Say facing would say east, then operator entity axial look would get you a vector 1, 0, 0. Positive 1x is this direction to the east. Yeah. This, unlike the facing value, also detects when you're looking up or down. So let's say I'm looking this direction and up, it would give me a 1 and 1, 1, I think, because I am looking up. The other two are place block sequence and break block sequence, the latter being the red piece for this group. Breaks things in a line. Similarly to the standard break, they require a position to start off, but they also require another vector, target, that defines the line in which it should interact. So if target is 0, 4, 1, it'll place or break 4 blocks up, starting from the position of a value of position. The last component to these tricks is max. This is a number constant for the maximum amount of blocks. Okay. Since the vector requirements aren't constant, this works as a meaning of calculating the potency and cost of the trick. The higher you set it, the more the spell will cost. Okay, so let's say I haven't maxed out to break one thing, it will only break one thing. And it will cost the minimal amount, but if I haven't set it up to break multiple, it will cost more and more. Okay, got it. Is there an easy way to clear the board, or do I have to delete everything? Shift Control Delete. Yep, there we go. Let's just sort of look at break block sequence, because that's what it wants us to do next. Where is it in this list? Break block sequence. There we go. So position, the position to start, the target direction in which it wants to break certain blocks in, and the max number of blocks broken. So it needs a constant number, and it's going to need a vector and a starting point. Oh, excuse me. So 2 vectors, one for starting point, one for how far we'll go. So... I don't want to do this. How would I do this? So I was going to say... I think I can create a vector to say what area I want it to destroy, right? So... if I wanted to construct a vector... where is construct vector? It's somewhere in this list. Get a localized raycast side access. Vector construct. There we go. So 3 numbers. Let's say I want this to break 1 in every direction of the block I break. X, Y, and Z, like so. If that's the target, max of 8 blocks, because why not? I think that sounds about right. Now we just need the location that I want to start things from. Which was the... It said something about this. We're gonna have to see if what I actually just did is going to work once I figure out the last part of this. Vector axis raycast, which gives us a vector equivalent to the side of the block we're looking at. So vector axis raycast is... or vector focal point. Let's just try vector focal point, I believe it's called. Maybe, where is it? Okay, let's try this for position. This needs my position and the raycast for where I'm looking. So entity look, entity position, starting from me, the caster, target, target. Position is here, ray is here. Let's drop the constant down to 5, like so, and that's enough. And I have an extra bullet that I have laying around. Break block sequence. So if I now replace... let's replace debug for right now. And we can test out break block sequence. I have a ravine right here. So if I have set this up correctly, it should break the block I am pointing at and 1 in every direction for a maximum of 5. It did not. It is in fact only breaking a single block. What if maybe the 1 is including the block itself. What if I made all of the vectors 2 or 3 or something? 2, 2, 2. Reassign the thing in here. It is still only breaking a single block. Hold on, no it's not. Hold on, I want to try something. 2... starting from here... hold on, this point is... let's say I'm going to place a block here. It's 3, 5, 4, 10, 9, 2. 2, 2, 2 would put it here, here, and then somewhere's on that pillar. Hold on. Okay, okay. Okay, I think I figured out what I did weird here. So it breaks. So breaking that block will break that block. So the block itself is counted as 1, 1, 1. So we'll move 1, 1, 1, which is to say there when I break that block. Okay, so I've made this weird. It's not exactly what I wanted. I should have done X and Y, but not Z. But how would I make it? No idea. So I've somehow made this work partially how I was trying to get it to work, but not all the way. I could make some changes. I suppose by getting the vector that I decide that I am looking at, the facing thing working right, with some of the extra things that was in that. But okay, that works sort of how I wanted it to. Not quite exactly. I can always come back and try to fix that later on. But it did give me one more level point to pick up alternate casting. So let's learn this. Aside from the standard spell bullets, alternate spell bullets can be created that allow for spells to be casted in different ways. Projectile spell bullets. I made this thing. This is a projectile spell bullet. I made it trying to fix Exploder before I realized that it was Minecolonies being weird. But, anyways. Instead of casting the spell straight away, I made a projectile that cast a spell upon colliding with something. Grenade spell bullets function similarly to the projectile ones, but create a grenade-style projectile that is affected by gravity and explodes after 3 seconds of being fired. Charge spells work like the grenade ones, but only cast a spell when ignited by a spell detonator. Okay. Mines will launch when someone walks on it. Circles. Okay. When spell bullets, where the caster is looking, the spell is cast on the position of the spell circle 20 times over the course of 5 seconds. So if I were to make an exploding spell circle right there, it would explode 20 times. Okay. It actually makes me think of something else I had wanted to try with Trick Explode. Like, does this only explode the ground, or would it explode a mob if I clicked on the mob? I want to test that out. But, anyways... Actually, I can see right there if I look at it again. It needs a position. So I suppose I could grab the position that a mob is currently standing in through some other pieces, and then it would explode where the mob is instead of the ground around the mob. So that could work. Anyways, getting a little off topic. The usage of alternative bullets like these requires the introduction of the selector focal point piece, which selects the focal point of the spell. For normal spell bullets, the focal point is the player itself, whereas for projectile, the focal point is the projectile entity. Naturally, the circle spell bullets, the focal point will be the spell circle. Selector caster always remains unchanged. The 32 block limit exists around the focal point, so these alternate spell bullets allow for a spell effect to happen farther away. Furthermore, a spell can always affect its caster, even if the caster is outside the 32 blocks. The spell detonator only works within 32. The other piece of the group, selector ruler vector, is to be used with a vector ruler. This item allows you to define a vector in the world. Hold shift and right click a block to set the source, and right click on another normally to set the destination. When you use the selector, it gives the vector you selected. In the case that you have multiple vector rulers on you, the first one is used, hotbar taking priority. Okay, so if I had a vector ruler, I could point here, and thus, if I had something decided upon by the vector for the rulers, it would move from here to here. I think? Not entirely sure. But that's kind of important right now. It wants us to use, actually remember that, the selector focal point. And it's a good thing I already have a spell bullet. So, the entity it wants to use is the bullet itself. If I got entity position from that, and if I just did explode, that will give, that gives a vector for where the entity is. And then, I think this one might be super easy with how I want it to work. So 1, that's actually pretty straightforward. So if I now use the spell bullet on this, it is a pretty basic explode. And if I just load this up, break block sequence can stay away for now. Assuming this works well, I now have this bullet that will explode wherever it hits. I have to make sure I'm outside of village range before it'll actually explode. Okay, that worked. This worked. The only problem is I'm a terrible shot. Also, this pig is immune. This pig is immune to exploding bullets to the face. How is this possible? Are all pigs immune to exploding bullets? The answer is apparently yes. All pigs are immune to exploding bullets. Great. I blew up a chicken just fine, so why is this being weird? It's also weird. It will blow up dirt, but not many other things. What if I try blowing up this? It's weird. It worked on a chicken, but I can't get anything else to explode. What if I try upping the power a little bit? Because I can actually do points in there instead. So I could do... Am I going to have enough ore to make it easily? I think when I was like testing things out, the max that I currently can afford is 0.4. That will bring it to 98 out of 100. Explode is now I was about to say 0.4, so 40% stronger than it was before. No idea if that's going to make any real change in the in use right now. Oh yeah, the explosion is bigger. Pigs are still immune to it. It's weird. There's literally an explosion focused on the pig. So I can make things go boom now, which is what I entitled the last one. I can make things go boom, but somehow the boom is still weird and finicky, and I don't understand how to really use it. But I suppose that's something. I should really upgrade this gun, because I'm still using the most basic low power thing. But I did finish that tutorial, so now I can get into Psi-Metal Infusion, which is the next thing. Psi-Metal is an important component to creating casting assistant devices with better psi conduction. The Trick Infusion piece executes a release of psionic energy similar to that of a cast with no bullets, except more concentrated and focused. The piece takes no parameters and functions the exact same manner as infusing redstone to create psi-dust does. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Where was I? I thought someone was knocking on my door. Turns out someone was just using a shoe to kill a spider right outside. Anyways, Psi-Metal Infusion. Where were we? The piece takes no parameter and functions the exact same way as infusing redstone to create psi-dust does. To infuse Psi-Metal, drop gold ingots around and cast a spell with Trick Infuse. Psi-Metal can not only be used to create more powerful kata components, but also to create spell drives. Spell drives function as a method of storing and transporting spells between various programmer blocks. To write a spell onto a spell drive, simply hold Shift and right-click it on the spell programmer. After the drive has a spell, doing the same thing will set the spell on the programmer instead. To remove it, hold Shift and right-click into the air. Spell drives can be copied by placing an empty one and written one together in a crafting guide. A crafting grid, rather. Okay, so we need to use this Trick Infuse. It said basically just on its own, right? So Trick Infuse. Yeah, it just works on its own. Just need to grab a... do I really need debug anymore? I don't think I do. So Trick Infuse. Gun goes in here. I just need a open slot. And then it said I need to use gold on this. Why am I opening a chest? It's in here. And then this gets used for Psi-Metal. Oh, it even says right there, Spell Infusion. Interesting. To make Psi-Metal CADs. Ebony Psi-Metal. How do I make you? Ebony Substance, which is coal with a CAD with ebony and ivory, which we do not have yet. Okay. So we're stuck at tier 3 as it currently stands. Ooh, what's Psi-Gem? Greater Infusion, don't have that yet. Okay, so we can max out on tier 3 for all of the pieces right now is what it looks like. I am going to have to go get some glowstone. But I think I've seen some of that somewheres. Oh wait, no, it's in the tunnels underneath this town. Okay, I can go get that pretty easily. So, like so. Move this over to Infusion. We now have 4 Psi-Metal. I need 4 for the gun. I need 4 for this. 2. 3. And I'm gonna have to make a new... Dogs are barking right outside my door. Anyways, 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully the dog is calmed down now and won't be starting back up. This is what I get for recording during the day. For the past week or so, I usually do my recordings like late at night when everyone else is more or less asleep, and I can just like sort of do my own thing for a little bit. What do I need? But now the cat is scratching at my door. Apparently, I am doing the rest of this recording with a cat in my lap. Anyways, oh no, she left. She left my lap. She wants on the bed now. Good. Anyways, as I was saying, how much slime metal do I need again? 4. I already have 4 for the gun. I need 4 for you. I need 2 for you and 1 for the last piece. Okay. So that's 7. So make 7 in this thing while I do story time. So, anyways, normally I do my recording at night when everyone else is asleep, and I can just sort of be a little... I can just sort of have my own time, a little bit quieter. But the last week or so, I've been getting really terrible sleep, so I ended up doing a lot of my recordings during the day instead for the last week, trying to let myself actually get some good rest, so I'm not like a complete zombie for all day, every day. But, anyways, yeah, that comes with its own issues. With a dog that goes crazy when you give her a shirt, and a cat who constantly wants in my room, and just people occasionally just needing help with things. So, a lot more distractions during the day, but hey, at least I feel a little bit more awake. But anyways, we need to go down here. Somewhere's down this tunnel. Let's actually switch to the night vision. There should be glowstone along one of these tunnel paths. Here it is. I knew it was somewhere around here. Couldn't remember the exact spot, though. I think this is more than enough for what I need to right now for, but just, like, pick up some of this rest of the stuff, just because. Nope, not dealing with you right now. Goodbye, goodbye. Actually, I could 100% deal with it right now just using my semblance, because this is very good for dealing with those clone things. One shot and they die. Anyways, we need the upgraded core piece, upgraded whatever, I don't know. We have that piece. We need this one. Oh, shimmy. And we need the extended CAD battery. I need a piece of iron for that. I actually only needed 2 pieces of glowstone, so I definitely got more than I needed, but that's fine. Gold, extended CAD battery, and CAD colorizer. Well, are we gonna have to... I think we're gonna need to make a new colorizer for this. So, make sure we take all the bullets out of this, because I don't know if we'll lose them or not. So, take this. I can't get the pieces back out of this one, so this gun... Bit of a mistake, but I can fix it. Don't want to do that. So, this piece... This is just like an old gun. This can just get like stored away for now. I want to remake the colorizer, so that's a couple pieces of glass. I'm going to need to turn a piece of redstone into the thing, and I'm just going to have to use one of my things. So, that's all fine. Let me just go gather some glass real quick, and we'll be good. I'll remake the colorizer, and we can make our upgraded gun. There we go, I have the colorizer, so now when I do this, this, and this, we now have a much better gun. Efficiency 80, 250 potency, complexity, projection, bandwidth, sockets, overflow, all that stuff is higher grade than our current one. Probably. Yeah, 150 plus on the potency, 80 plus on the efficiency, a whole lot more projection and complexity, a whole lot more, or not much more bandwidth, but double the sockets and double the overflow. Okay. Oh, that's actually a whole lot more bullet slots than we had in the old one. So now I can just like run everything without going through everything. So we now have this thing. Move entity. Move self. The other CAD in your inventory is inventory. Oh yeah, you can only have 1 CAD, so this one has to go away. Goodbye, you. That only costs 11.25. So, ow. So yeah, I can cast more spells now. before going into, before I spend too much. So that's all well and good. We have an upgraded gun. It's much better. It's much cooler looking. Not that. I need to have nothing in my hand. Now we can go into our next things. Block movement, elemental arts, movement advances, blink. Okay. Smite. Move, block. Oh, here we're into the cool things. Let's pick up the elemental arts. This looks like it's going to be combat-oriented stuff, and we haven't gotten much of that yet. What is a system that allows for manipulation of the world's properties if it didn't include some good old-fashioned elemental-themed magic? This group contains tricks for the 4 elements. The red piece for this group is Smite, which creates a lightning bolt at the position passed in. The other tricks also do things of the sort. The group also contains operator Random. A piece that will generate a random number between 0, inclusive, and the number passed in exclusive. This can be used alongside loop, cast, or spell circle spells in many ways. For example, one could create a spell that would use Trick Overgrow to mass bone meal a plantation. Okay, interesting. Blaze creates fire, Torrent creates water, Overgrow fertilizes, create a random number between 0 and a number, and then Smite. Smite seems like it's going to be the main damage dealer here. What if I just take this exploding bullet? Let's just clear that real quick. That would also change the name. I just add in Smite real quick. That's what it wants anyways. Where is it on this list? Smite. I don't see any lightning bolts. That's random. Looking for something that resembles a lightning bolt and missing it. Blaze. Explode. Infuse. Look up Smite. How did I miss the lightning bolt? Position. It was focal point. That's what, I think that's what I'm looking for, right? Select your focal point, the entity in which the spell is focused on. Oh, that one's a vector, not a location. Alright, that one's a vector, not an entity. So if I did focal point, and then entity position, entity look, entity motion, entity position. There we go. 100 out of 250, 400 cost. Everything looks good there. It doesn't have any sort of potency or anything, so it's just like the base cost there. So if I just grab Explode, it becomes Smite instead. And now, wherever the bullet lands, we should just get a Lightning Bolt. Which, lightning does decent damage. Probably not a whole lot compared to some of the other things, but this should also just immediately... I just started a forest fire. That's not good. Or I suppose that's a plains fire for right now. Fire! I just struck myself with lightning. That was brilliant. Aha! I got an actual offensive skill. It just doesn't really do much. If I wanted to, I could create a witch. I probably don't, though. This thing's just gonna stay on my tail for a little bit. So, goodbye, goodbye. Whee! Use your semblance right as you're about to hit the ground, and you take no damage. It's very nice. So, very easy level. Finally have some sort of offense going for us. It's not amazing, especially compared to some of our basic other stuff. It's basically a more... It's basically a different power system with a different damage base, which is what it is. So it's less costly to us. Like, we get that much faster. We can just cost that infinitely. We just need to not run out of things. It's just going to do a whole lot less damage than the shots that we constantly have to make with Crescent Rose, or all the aura we extend with our Lich Steel. No, it's not as strong, but much more freely casted. Especially since the bullets aren't used up. But, once again, another pretty easy level, kind of a cool one. And we have one more. We can movement advance, loop cast, selected amount of loop cast executions to make something happen multiple times, I'm assuming. And movement for blink, mass movements, some cool stuff. Let's go for the movement thing. But we're running in on time. I don't want to jump ahead too far and like get stuck on things. So for right now, I'm just going to clear this out. And I think I want to take one more run trying to make the dig thing work before we end off for the day, because we're approaching the end anyways. So I'm just going to set up the dig thing again and like try to like change it around. So I'll just get back to that starting point. Okay, I have no idea if this is going to work or not. So basic thing is still the same over here. Raycast to get the position based on me, my position and where I'm looking. That works the same as before into block sequence. Now with a max of 10 because we can afford a little bit higher. I now have it set up to take what are called? The direction that I am looking on an axis. Blah. So we were looking at that before. Like this would be axis 1 because I'm looking at the top of this block. It's not working how I think it should. How do I make this work? Why is this only breaking one block instead of like a range of 10 in the direction I'm looking like it said it was supposed to? I was really hoping that was going to work to have something to show off, but I have no idea how to actually properly set up the target vector for this. Like, I started things like, okay, break the block. I could make it so it breaks 0 blocks. I can make it so it breaks 1 block. I don't even know how I set it up to break 2 random non-adjacent blocks before, because I can't make that work again. I have no idea what to actually do with this. It's kind of weird. So, get an entity look vector. What if I try this instead? Like, instead of the axis that I'm looking at, just the vector for where I'm looking. Now it's not even breaking any blocks. This is weird. What if I try raycast on this side too? Oh wait. Hold on. I think I might have been using the wrong piece before. What if I try doing basically the same thing but use a different piece? It's like target. Does this require a position? Same as that position. Ray, same as that position. What'll this work? No, that still only breaks a single piece. I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. Like, max number? What if I set, like, max 5 here for the max? Readjust it. Now will it break up to 5 blocks, I wonder? No, it continues to only break 1. I have no idea. Once again, I'm going to have to look up another guide to figure out this piece. Some things I can figure out pretty simply. Some things just work weird, and I don't understand them. But, anyways, looking at the time, that's probably a pretty good place to end things off. Next time, I'll probably get up to something else, so I'm not just using the same thing forever. I'll probably do a little bit more work on this off camera just to figure out some things. I would like to try and get some of the more offensive stuff going a little bit better. But, anyways, I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed as much as I have, and I hope to see you next time. So, without further ado, take care, everybody.